Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, General Neller, and to your family. Congratulations on a wonderful service thus far. A few questions. I want to go back to, you talked a bit about gender integration earlier. I want to kind of get your take first on how it's going, and then the kind of philosophy that the Marine Corps is undertaking to carry out that mission. If you could talk about that.
Senator, when the Secretary made the decision to open up all occupational fields, the service chiefs and the services were getting a certain amount of time to take a look at how they might do this. We've worked hard to work in a way to figure out how we will integrate. We've opened up MOSs. We put female Marine officers, staff NCOs and NCOs in units where previously women weren't allowed to serve. They've done well. We're going to continue to do that. And then to determine the last part, whether we would, based on a standard, allow women to serve in infantry, artillery, tanks, light armored reconnaissance, amphibian tractors, and reconnaissance. We formed a task force of volunteers, and we put them together as a unit. They trained up, and they went to 29 Palms into the Mountain Warfare Center and did a series of tests. Those tests are complete. The data has been collected. It's being analyzed, and it'll provide information that will inform the Commandant about whether or not he will request a waiver for any of those MOSs. So I have not seen all the data. I've seen some of it. I've been involved in this process for some time. When we first sent volunteer female Marines enlisted to the Infantry Training Battalion to try to gain data and determine their ability to complete that course. Of the number that went, they had about a 36% completion rate. And again, you know, we're still looking at this. We have not made any sort of predecision, and so again, whatever we do, it is about individual standards. It is about the capability of the unit and that unit becoming better, or at least as good as it is now. So that decision is going to come. I believe we had a good process. We've got information. It's fact-based. We're working with the Army. We're sharing the data with them. And I'm sure that General Dunford has spoken to, I know he's spoken to General Odierno, and he'll work with General Milley if he is confirmed as the next Chief of Staff of the Army.
Can I ask a question about the standard, kind of the philosophy in setting the standard? As you set the standard in the areas that are not yet gender integrated, is the standard setting just describing the current functions the way we've always done it, or is the standard setting a new analysis of what are the attributes that are the most needed to do the best job in this particular MOS?
I have not seen all the different task condition standards. They will be functionally based. They won't be, I mean, there may be a screening process for any Marine, male or female, but it'll be not lift so much weight as if you have to load the tank main gun, I have to load the howitzer, I have to prepare the charge, I got to carry the projectile, I've got to drag the cannon, I have to carry the load, I have to go this fast, this far with this much weight. It'll be those types of things. And so that's the data we've got. And what the data says about how men and women did. I went out and saw the unit that did the test. It was a very hard test. It was hard. And regardless of whatever happens, I can tell you that the Marines out there, particularly the women Marines, they did a great job. It was pretty motivating.
So, I'm going to switch gears to an area of the Marines that is incredibly important. I'm not sure everybody focuses on them. They train in Virginia, and it's good to have a UVA grad before us, the Marine Security Guards who train at Quantico. Everywhere I travel, if I'm ever at a U.S. Embassy, I always stick my head into Post 1 to thank these important members of not only the embassy family, but important members of the Marine Corps. This is a job that is getting more attention. This is a job where I think on armed services we've devoted more resources to it. How familiar are you with that unit, and especially in terms of kind of, do they have the resources they need? Are we training enough? Because we sure need them around the world.
Senator, I'm not completely conversant in their entire training program of instruction. I like you, when I go to embassies, I talk to the Marines. They're very high quality. They're very highly screened. It's a great retention tool for us to keep Marines in. I do worry because they are so capable that we don't get a lot of them to stay after their service. They've got options, and I always ask them how many of you are going to stay. And if there's any of them that say they are, I immediately volunteer myself to be their career planner, so I can convince them to stay, because they are some of the very best and brightest young men and women we have. But I think they're trained well. I think they're resourced well. I've never been to an embassy where they told me they were wanting or lacking for anything, or the regional security officer. So I'd have to get back to you on any more detail, but my basic rudimentary response is I think they're in good shape.
Great. Thank you very much for your testimony. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.